Okay, and I'm going to go real fast. This is about how to write better questionnaires. The breakout questions are these. What are the key mistakes you see in questionnaire design? How do you work with clients to avoid these? Okay. So I think one of the first problems is that everybody thinks they can write a questionnaire. I call it questionnaire design speak. These are all examples from real surveys. What percent of your most recent purchases of individually packaged food items are your priority choice? Nobody talks that way. What's an individually packaged food item? What does priority choice mean? Does that mean I buy it the most? I like it the most? Do you mean me, my family? What are most recent purchases? In the past 30 days, how many times have you frequented a fast casual restaurant? I mean, I talk to clients all the time. Have you ever heard somebody say, hey, do you want to frequent a fast casual restaurant? No, people don't really talk that way. So, it's kind of an issue. We have industry jargon, everybody has it. How well did that concept resonate with you? I can't tell you how many people said, I don't know what you mean by resonate. How many times did your HCP tell you about healthcare provider? People don't know what that means. Contrary to popular belief at the cleaning liquids company, not everybody knows what a surfactant is. And at the yogurt place, not everybody really knows what new age yogurts are. Or let's go to primary choice. Okay. So these are just issues that we have. Everybody thinks they can write them. Everybody has their own jargon. Ad agencies have theirs, and we have to deal with that. This is a very simple question. How many cars do you own? And if you pre-tested this properly, did a real cognitive interview, a person might say, our son has a car, but he's off at college. I'm not sure if you want me to count that. I drive a small truck. Do you mean vehicles or do you mean actual cars? My spouse, she actually doesn't own the car. I mean, it's, the credit union has the title. I don't really know what you really mean. And so it goes to the point of what does you really mean? We haven't defined that. Do we really mean cars? What do we mean by ownership? This goes back to a key issue that I see all the time, which is how clients say it, how they write it, isn't always what they want. 80% of the time, easily what they tell you they want isn't what they really want. We have to dig deeper. This great example, this came from a client. Which of the following best describes your role in purchasing food for the family? I am the primary shopper of food. Role in purchasing food. What does that mean? Pay for it, pick it up, prepare it. It can mean a lot of different things. So went in and asked the client, I said, just please don't look at the computer screen. What do you really want to know? And she said, oh, we just want to know who does most of the grocery shopping. Oh, well, that's different. Why don't we ask this? Who does most of the grocery shopping for your household? Then quizzed her about the food thing. Do you care if it's food? Oh, no, we don't really care if it's food, just grocery shopping, whatever, paper goods. Again, the point is everybody thinks they can write these things. What they tell you, what they write down is so often not really what they want. In my book, I have guidelines for doing this, keep the question stem under 25 words, say the question out loud, things like that. So in my book, got a framework about planning research to support decisions, probably the most important thing you can do. Conduct qualitative research first, plan the questionnaire. This is all happening before anybody writes anything down. Okay. So then guidelines for writing questions, make the questions clear, answerable, easy, and unbiased. Then, we really only ask people to do three things. We ask them to select from a list. We ask them to rate things on scales. Then we ask them open-ended questions, guidelines around that. And then, of course, pre-testing. The way the book is formatted, in each section, there are a series of guidelines. And I'm just going to go over just a few because, just to get some stuff across in 10 minutes. You'll see item number 4, when using the word you, make sure the respondent knows whom you're referring. We did that with cars. I love this one. This was a real study. How long was your baby in the hospital? This was years ago. Data came in really odd, did some interviews. The problem was some people answered in inches, others answered in days. Okay. State the unit of measurement. How many days was your baby in the hospital? How many inches was your baby? How frequently do you go to the grocery store? Fred says, I go there once a week. It's pretty frequently. Joe, I go there once a week. I'll say infrequent. State the unit of measurement. What is the unit of measurement? And here's an example of an improved question. By the way, there was no time frame there either. In the past 30 days, how many times have you yourself gone to the grocery store and then putting a label for the response item? Okay. And again, all of this goes back to, what does the client really want to know? Because it may not be any of this. And then how is that going to connect to the decision? Another example that I love, the state you're at. Whenever I see that, I go, oh, this is going to be a bear, because this is people just kind of thinking up in the clouds. State, Bill might say Georgia. Right? Then look at all these ands, the double barrel problem. Now, when it goes to how to fix these things, I'm just showing you what I like to do with clients if they'll let me, and that is we present a questionnaire plan, and the left-hand column is the information we need. That question up above has probably 5 different types of information we need. Then we write how to ask the question. Then we write over there in column C how we're going to analyze the data. Much better to help get around this. Presenting rating scales. Honestly, you could get your PhD in this, but as Fernando would know, that would take what, 4 years? Yeah. So I'm just going to point out one thing in rating scales that is, interesting to me. Question format matters. This was the agree, disagree format. The best way to ensure peace is through military strength. 55% of people agreed with it. This was a Pew Research study done. When they use the forced choice format, the best way to ensure peace is through military strength, or diplomacy is the best way to ensure peace. Only 33% of the people agreed. Now, which is it? If you're trying to get at that construct, I can tell you there have been over 100 studies that have shown agree, disagree scales have a strong, positive bias. And so I'm just going to show you some experiments that I've done, just a few results. And Bill, don't worry, I'll be done in 3 minutes. Okay. We asked 400 people in Group A to rate this statement. I always look for the lowest price option when I shop on an agree-disagree scale. And there are the results. We randomly assigned another to Group B. How well or not well does the statement describe you? And you can see you get a really different distribution there. Okay. So I'm able to talk a lot of clients into this. Some know. They just love their agree-disagree scale. So, we got to, I work in the real world, so, you can't win every battle, but how well does the statement describe you does work better in terms of getting that distribution. Now, here's the agree, disagree statement again. And we had another 400 people see Group C, which were pairs of statements. I would rather pay more for quality. I always look for the lowest price option when I shop. Look what happens to all those slightly agree and strongly agree people, So when we're trying to get at psychological constructs, the best way to do it is when you give these, pairs of choices. And, it's just an example. So I think I got through this in time, didn't I, Bill?
You did very well.
Okay. So I'm going to show you, because I think I do have a minute left.
Yes.
I'm going to show you this idea of writing a questionnaire plan, which, is always best if you want to do that. I showed you this earlier. We write the background at the top. We nail down what decision the research is going to support. Because when I go back to people, I can't fix these questions unless I know what are you going to decide? What information do we need to make that decision? Then on the left, we're writing information needed. In the middle, how to ask the question, and then on the right, the analysis plan. I work to get people over there in column A. Help me, tell me what information you need. Don't worry, I'll write the first draft. And in this case over here, with how many cars do you own? There might be a decision determining the right targets for a new vehicle insurance program. I work through them. It's best number of vehicles. It doesn't matter if they own or lease it. Ask them questions off here to the right, or any kids off at college. And then, we end up with a better question. So that's my 10 minutes. And I guess these are our breakout questions.